All right, pleased to be joined now by St. John Titan alum and former Michigan Wolverine, Jack Miller. Jack, thank you so much for being here. Yeah. And Jack has been doing, if you've missed it, he's been doing games for us for a couple of weeks now. But let me ask you this. The last we saw, you were playing center up at Michigan. You had a fifth-year eligibility, decided to move on. What's been going on for you since then?
A lot, I guess. Went to Chicago right out of school and worked there for about a year, and missed football, always had a passion for it and thought about coaching, so an opportunity opened up here at UT to come back. So I was a graduate assistant last year for the Rockets, all of 2016. Decided that I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life and that I should get back into the business world. So now I work at Highland. That's my day job. I do commercial insurance. And it's been great. And so, just trying to find a way to get back involved with football, and this opportunity presented itself. So happy to be doing it.
Yeah, and we're happy to have you. And I will say this, for the record, when I used to go and interview Jack, after we get done with the interview, I'd look over him and say, oh, you got a future in this business. He was one of the best talkers that I've come to, an 18-year-old kid all the way up through Michigan. So we're glad to have you as a part of the BCSN crew.
Sure.
All right, now I want to shift gears to Michigan. Let's talk Michigan. Jim Harbaugh getting it done. They're in the top 10 in both polls. Is this the year they're finally going to get over that Ohio State hump?
I sure hope so.
I know you do.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. There's plenty of things to work on, certainly, only 3 weeks in, and plenty of room for improvement. The defense looks solid, and offensively there's some things that they got to iron out, find a little bit of an identity, get in rhythm. So, I think the old adage is true. You take it week by week, and if you do the right things consistently, they'll add up, and you'll be in a spot at the end of the year where you'd like to be. So time will tell. They're certainly talented and very well coached, so anything's possible.
You have had a chance to be up there this year. You said you went to Cincinnati. What did you see from your perspective?
Well, it's run like an NFL organization. I mean, from top down, everything is professional. Everything is super well organized and well done. And there's no excuses on the field or off the field. And there's a standard of excellence that they really have, and you're seeing that really come to light right now, the way they're playing and the way things are going. So, I'm confident they stay on the right track, that they'll be where they want to be at the end of the season. You
had your career with Coach Hoke. Coach Harbaugh comes in. We mentioned you had that chance for a fifth year. Yeah. You chose to go another route. What is the relationship like with Jim Harbaugh? Was it just a passing in the night? Do you have a relationship with him now?
Yeah, we have a fairly good relationship. He came in December and was hired, and I elected to not take my fifth year in May. So we got to know each other pretty well through the offseason and a little bit of spring ball. Amicably parted ways. I said, there were things that once I graduated that I wanted to move on and do, and he understood that and respected that. So I'm a proud alum now and try to get back as much as I can, and it's a special place, so I try to keep it around me as much as I can.
When you see him, and specifically when he came up here and recruited James Hudson III and he's dancing in the kitchen, is that the kind of guy that you met for that time and is that the kind of guy you see?
Yeah, he's certainly an enthusiastic guy, and he loves football and he loves everything about it and the process and all the things that go in behind the scenes that you really don't see. He embraces and welcomes and is great at those things too, like recruiting. So yeah, he's an exceptional coach and certainly the right guy for the job at Michigan.
One more question on Michigan, the Big Ten opener, a road trip this week. Yeah. Take me back when you guys were getting ready. I mean, every game's a big game. I get it, one game at a time.
Yeah.
But a Big Ten opener on the road, what did that do for the locker room?
Well, I think guys will be excited. The preseason, so to speak, is over. So now it's time where every game really counts as far as going and trying to play in the Big Ten championship. So, first chance to really get on the road. I know they were in Dallas early in the season, but now they have a hostile away environment. Yeah. And Purdue's been playing well so far. So, they're going to have to get ready and show up and face an offense that's completely different from what they did last week with Air Force. So, it's a challenge in front of them, and they're going to have to step up and be ready for it. But that's the name of the game when you play in a good conference, is every week, you got to battle something different and figure out how to come out with a W. So that's what they're working on this week, I know that.
NFL guys from Northwest Ohio, and one guy you know very well, a guy you played against and with at Michigan, Chris Wormley, just seeing him in that NFL. Now, he hasn't played a lot, but he's still up there. He's third-round draft pick. Your thoughts on his progression?
Well, you knew back in high school when Chris was at Whitmer that he would probably end up in the NFL one day, barring any injuries, and luckily he's there. Great guy. That's probably the first thing that people say about Chris. Obviously very physically gifted, smart kid, but just a tremendous individual. And had a great career at Michigan like we all expected, and that translates hopefully into a great NFL career. He's with a great program and organization with the Ravens, so he'll get some playing time. And you're back to the bottom of the totem pole. He's a rookie trying to find his way in a new city and a new scheme defensively and all that kind of stuff. So, but if there's one guy who's got the talent and the mindset to make it work, it's Chris. So I'm hopeful for his future.
Well, you were obviously a center. He was D-line on the same team in Michigan, but I got to imagine some of those practices got pretty intense.
Yeah, they did. Chris is a hard worker, and there was never an easy day going against him. When you're a third-round defensive line draft pick, you're pretty talented. So it was a challenge for me to block him every day. And I got to see it firsthand what a player he is, and certainly a good pick by the Ravens. I think he'll pan out to be a really good player for them.
A guy who was a little younger than you, but you did have a chance to go up against DeShone Kizer, playing quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Now, an unenviable position given the history of the Browns in that position. But, I mean, we're all pulling for him. We all love him. Your thoughts about a guy you played against who's now got the weight of the city on his back?
Yeah, well, I'm hopeful for DeShone. Same thing. Back in high school, had all the tools and mechanics to probably be an NFL guy one day, and it worked out for him after a great career at Notre Dame. You said it. It's not a great place to be for a young quarterback, given the history that Cleveland has had. But everybody in the city is behind him and really hopes that he can be the one to kind of turn that franchise around and get some wins. I think through 2 games, he's looked good. He shows flashes. He's got the potential, I think, to be a really good NFL quarterback. And if the Browns can get a supporting cast around him to help complement him and take some of that pressure off him as the play caller, I think he stands a good chance to do that. Like I said, through 2 games, he's looked pretty good. So we'll have to see. I mean, the NFL every week it's something different, and you never really know what you're going to get. So if he can begin to play consistently and really start to play effectively, I think the future is going to be okay for the Browns. But it's a daunting task for a young guy, for a rookie, and but he's got the entire city here pulling for him.
Well, if J.C. Treader, his center, ever goes down, maybe beep up. Hey, Jack, come out of retirement.
That's way over with now.
All right. Okay. So as we mentioned, Jack now doing BCSN broadcast, and you've got our game of the week this week with Mason Lowry, Northview Springfield. I mean, this is going to be a 4-0 Northview team, a 3-1 Springfield team. So many storylines. What are your thoughts on this one?
I think it's going to be a great game. Like you said, a lot of storylines, a lot of moving pieces coming into this one. Both teams are incredibly talented, and that's somewhat of a new thing for Northview football lately. They haven't been all that successful, but they have a lot of good talent on that team, and it's going to be a tough task going into Springfield. You know that their fan base is going to show up, and they're playing well right now. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be a really fun game to watch and to call for me.
Do not miss Jack Miller, Mason Lowry on the call for that one. You can catch him in Game Day Nation coming up on Friday as well. And Jack, so good to have you as a part of the BCSN family. We will see you much more in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.